From the moment you try too hard to be liked, you stop leading. You start following. This is a deep truth. Machiavelli, a master weaver of human nature, saw that weakened entire groups from the inside. Leaders, thinkers, even powerful figures often become desperate for affection, approval, and applause. And every time they tried to be adored, they gave away the one thing they needed to survive: true power. Because being liked isn't free. It comes with hidden threads. 1,000 small, unseen ties linked to what others expect from you. And if you're not careful, those threads become strong ropes. They pull you in directions you never chose. They quiet your true thoughts. They force you to make decisions to please the crowd instead of doing what's right for your own path. That's why truly powerful people, the ones who seem untouchable, never chase being liked. They chase results. They chase control. They chase outcomes so clear and strong that being liked becomes unimportant. Machiavelli wrote, "It is much safer to be respected than merely liked if one must choose." Many people misunderstand this. They think it means be mean or be cold. That's wrong. What Machiavelli truly meant was far deeper. He meant that being liked is conditional. It can be easily taken away. But being respected, or even causing a healthy caution, creates true independence. Because being liked comes with unspoken rules. It can make you soft. It can make you bend. The people who like you today will demand things tomorrow. They'll expect you to act in certain ways, to choose safety over necessary risk, comfort over strength. And if you stop meeting their expectations, they won't just stop liking you. They'll turn their feelings into resentment. Ask any leader who's tried to please everyone. It always ends the same way. Praise turns into demands. Demands become traps. Traps lead to anger. But respect, or a healthy caution, that doesn't ask for anything. That respects you in silence. It watches your next move. It doesn't try to change you because it knows it can't. And that's what power really is. The ability to move without needing anyone's permission. You want to know why truly powerful people avoid being overly liked? Because being liked often requires permission. Every smile you earn, every compliment you get, is like a small vote. And votes can be taken away. They make you fragile, dependent, always reacting to others. Machiavelli saw this in the powerful figures of his time. He saw leaders trade smart plans for compliments. He watched powerful groups crumble because their leaders focused too much on being popular. And he understood this core truth: the more people like you, the more they believe they own you. But the more people respect you, the more they let you control your own path. Think about the figures who have changed history, the ones who didn't wait to be liked. A famous scientist who stuck to their unpopular theories despite criticism. A brave artist who created challenging, controversial work. A tough business leader who made difficult, often unpopular, decisions for long-term gain. They weren't always loved for their ideas. But they changed the world. Why? Because they didn't ask for permission to lead. They didn't beg for applause. They didn't make decisions based on what everyone thought. They chose real strength over simple popularity. They wove a unique, strong fabric of respect, not a flimsy, common cloth of approval. Now let's imagine you're in a room full of people. A meeting, a family dinner, a public stage. You have a choice: say what they want to hear, or say what needs to be said. The person seeking popularity goes for the laugh, the nod, the applause. The powerful person goes for control. And sometimes, that control requires you to be unlikable for a moment. To challenge. To make others a little uncomfortable, not because you're mean, but because you're connected to a deeper truth, like the strong, unique threads of your fabric. Here's what Machiavelli would whisper in that moment: if you have to make someone uncomfortable, do it in such a way that they won't dare to try and hurt you back later. This isn't about physical harm. It's about psychology. When you act with clear authority, calm, clear, precise, you don't need to be liked. Because you've already won the one thing popularity can't give you: control over how you are seen. Let me ask you this. What do you lose when you try too hard to be liked? You weaken your words, making them soft. You delay important decisions. You hide your true goals. You compromise with people who don't even respect you. You hide your strong focus to avoid making others uncomfortable. And worst of all, you go against your own instincts just to keep others happy. Machiavelli would call this a slow wearing away of your power. He saw it in leaders who tried to please everyone, and in doing so, they pleased no one and made their opponents stronger. Machiavelli's reversal. Truly powerful people don't avoid being disliked. They choose when to be disliked. They pick their challenge carefully. They create small moments of resistance to signal their strength, like testing the durability of their woven fabric. Because in power games, if everyone likes you, you're not doing anything real. You're just performing a show with a flimsy curtain. So how do you start living this? Stop saying sorry for having strong opinions. People who are unsure will always be bothered by clear thinking. Stop explaining your vision to people who can't see past their own worries. Stop giving up your future just to avoid temporary discomfort. Start making people choose. They can like you or they can respect you. But either way, they'll respect you if you never bend. Because in the end, power isn't about being surrounded by happy faces. It's about being surrounded by quiet respect, the kind that comes from knowing you've earned your space without needing anyone's permission. That's what Machiavelli knew, and that's what the world still obeys. This is like weaving your fabric so strong that it commands attention, not begs for it. The truth Machiavelli understood, the truth most people spend their lives avoiding, is this. The desire to be liked is a weakness hidden as a good quality. Society praises it. Schools teach it. Families enforce it. But beneath the surface, that need to be accepted is the loose thread by which the powerful subtly control others. It's not just a small flaw, it's a planned way to keep you easy to manage. Machiavelli didn't write for the nice person, he wrote for the one who wanted to win. He understood that good intentions, when used wrongly, become a trap. A set of rules designed to make you doubt yourself while your opponents move without hesitation. So when you try too hard to be liked, what are you really doing? You're asking for emotional safety. You're trading clear action for comfort. You're saying, please approve of me, instead of saying, here's my move, watch me execute. And once you make that trade, you've already lost your authority. This is why truly powerful people do not crave your approval. They respect one thing only: control. And every bit of being liked they show is a careful move, not a true need. Let's look deeper. When you try to be liked, you become easy to predict, because people know you won't risk being rejected. You become easy to mold, because they know exactly what to do to make you act a certain way. You become easy to replace, because if you're acting like everyone else, kind, agreeable, humble, then what makes you different? Machiavelli would never aim to be liked. He would aim to be remembered, respected, admired from a distance. Not because he lacked kindness, but because he understood this law. Being too familiar often leads to being taken for granted, but a bit of distance creates deep respect. This is like your unique fabric. If you make it too common, it loses its specialness. He would show flashes of charm, yes, but only when it helped his bigger goal. He would smile, but never to just fit in. He would agree, but never to give up control. Every action served a smart plan, not insecurity. And here's where most people fail. They think being likable is safe. But nothing is more dangerous. Because when you're likable, you attract people who depend on you. People who want things from you. People who expect you to always be there. And once they feel they own you, they start demanding that you make yourself smaller. Say less. Do less. Be less ambitious. Be more humble. But Machiavelli didn't aim for humility. He aimed for dominance. And he knew how the game really worked. The moment someone starts controlling how you're allowed to behave, even in small ways, you've already been defeated. This is why the truly powerful don't crave simple affection. They crave leverage. They understand something crucial. If you have to ask for someone's loyalty, their love, their trust, it's not real, it's a show. It will disappear the second you say something they don't like. So what did Machiavelli teach instead? He taught how to build a reputation that commands attention without asking for it. One built not on softness but on intentional sharpness. On being bold when others hesitate. On being respected even when misunderstood. On being untouchable, not just generally liked. This is like weaving your fabric with strong, sharp threads that make it stand out. Let me show you something deeper here. The most magnetic people, the ones the world can't stop watching, are not the ones who try to be popular. They are the ones who radiate inner strength, the ones who speak truth without flinching, who walk into a room without needing to change their energy because they are the energy. And that strong presence is born from one thing: emotional independence. Machiavelli would tell you, the person who can stand alone in their judgment, who doesn't need applause to know they are right, is the person others will eventually follow. And yes, people will push back at first. They'll say you're arrogant, cold, harsh. But that's not the truth. That's their own weakness reacting to your strength. Because deep down, everyone wants to follow someone who doesn't bend. No one trusts the person who needs to be liked by everyone. Because if you need everyone, you'll eventually betray anyone to get them. But if you can live without their applause, you become the one thing they can't control. And therefore the one thing they secretly respect the most. Now let's bring this home. The people who truly change the world, who lead cultures, who survive challenges and attacks, they don't win because they're loved. They win because they're respected for their precision, admired for their clarity, and strong in their refusal to give in. The moment you stop needing to be liked, you unlock a completely different identity, one that doesn't put on a show. One that doesn't look for comfort in what everyone else agrees on. One that walks like it already owns the outcome. Because when you stop begging to be liked, you stop being liked by small people and start being followed by powerful ones. That's the transformation Machiavelli taught. He wasn't teaching you how to be good. He was teaching you how to be unbreakable. The final illusion, the one that enslaves most people and leaves them wondering why, after years of being agreeable, polite, and good, they still get trampled, is that being liked leads to being respected. Machiavelli shattered this lie with ruthless clarity. He saw it time and time again. The kind person, the forgiving person, the leader who tries to be loved, often ends up hurt by their own friends, removed by their own people, or defeated by rivals they thought were allies. Why? Because being liked doesn't earn you respect, it earns you expectations. People start to believe they have a right to your time, that they can guess your next move, that they can control you, and the moment people believe they can control you, you are no longer powerful, you are managed. Machiavelli's entire philosophy is built around this hard truth. If you want power, you must be respected first, and if that means being disliked by some, then so be it. Let's bring this into modern life. Who truly succeeds? The person who keeps saying yes, smiling through disrespect, hoping to win hearts? Or the one who makes tough decisions, sets clear limits, and walks away the moment disrespect enters the room? The latter might not be adored, but they're obeyed. They're watched. They're remembered. Because power isn't about harmony, it's about clear purpose. And you can't build your strong fabric while you're worried about everyone applauding every stitch. Here's what Machiavelli would say in today's world. If they like you for being nice, they will replace you with someone nicer. But if they respect you for your strength, they'll fear losing you. Niceness is replaceable. Respect isn't. You want to make yourself irreplaceable? Stop being overly agreeable. Start being necessary. And that starts by dropping the strong urge to please everyone. Now here's a hard truth Machiavelli saw centuries ago. Those who try too hard to be liked often lose themselves to gain approval. They soften their words, weaken their beliefs, change their goals. And every time they do this, they think they're being smart, careful, polite. But in the eyes of the powerful, they're being something else entirely: weak. Because if you're willing to give up your strength just to be accepted, what won't you give up under pressure? Machiavelli's true leaders didn't play that game. They planned every relationship, not based on feelings, but on what was useful. Does this person help me gain power? Do they have influence I need? Will this connection protect my position or threaten it? If the answer was no, the bond was cut. No emotional speeches, no guilt, no explaining. Because relying on feelings is a weakness for those who want true power. But what if you're not a powerful leader? What if you're just a person in a social group, a workplace, or online? Does this still apply? Absolutely, because every person has their own small kingdom. It might be your social circle, your job, your online presence. But the game is the same. Those who lead don't let others' opinions control them. They command respect. So let's say you walk into a room and everyone likes you. That might feel good. But Machiavelli would ask, what have you given up to create that feeling? Did you avoid speaking up? Did you hide an unpopular truth? Did you flatter someone who doesn't deserve it? Did you smile when you should have held your silence? Every one of those moves makes you more liked and less powerful. You're becoming easy to read, predictable, common. And Machiavelli didn't write manuals for common people. He wrote them for players who changed their world. Here's another psychological twist he mastered. Being respected doesn't mean being cruel. It means being unshakable. It means people look at you and know that you will not bend. Not for opinions, not for comfort, not for social pressure. And because of that, they respect you before they even fully understand you. Your presence does the talking. But when you're obsessed with being liked, everything you do is just a reaction. You wait for feedback, you change your tone, you ask yourself, will this offend them? Instead of asking, is this effective? The powerful person reverses it. He leads. They adjust. Because if you want to be exceptional, you cannot base your actions on what average people expect. Machiavelli would even go further. He'd say, be different on purpose. Let people misunderstand you. Let them call you too direct, too ambitious, too calm. Why? Because when they put a label on you, they acknowledge you. When they misunderstand you, they talk about you. And when they respect your strength, they don't try to trick you. You want true loyalty? Make people admire your clarity. You want real impact? Speak without hesitation. You want to be followed? Stop trying to be liked. Start being impossible to ignore. Because in the war for power, the most dangerous person isn't the one who gets applause. It's the one who doesn't need it. If you want to be powerful, then understand this. The need to be liked is the most appealing prison ever built. It's not held by chains, but by compliments. Not guarded by soldiers, but by smiles. And worst of all, you'll never realize you're in it until it's too late. Because being liked feels good. It feels like things are going well. Approval, security. You walk into rooms and people greet you, laugh at your jokes, nod when you speak, praise your behavior. You begin to believe you're doing something right. But Machiavelli would look you directly in the eye and say, you are not building power. You are building dependence. And when the crowd shifts, when the easy acceptance dies, when your smile is no longer enough, they will discard you like you never mattered. You think you're playing the social game well, but they see you as easy to control. And the moment you stop being easy to control, they turn on you. This is why Machiavelli's most difficult truth remains timeless. Trying to be liked forces you to live by someone else's rules, and that makes you easy to break. History is full of people who had good reputations but no real power. People who were too afraid to be disliked, too desperate to be liked, too loyal to their public image. They never made a real move. Never took a necessary risk, never enforced a limit that might bother someone. They died polite, but without power. So what did Machiavelli do differently? He built himself like a strong, unique fabric. He sharpened his character into something you couldn't ignore. He didn't chase being liked, he chased unwavering presence. Because once you build a presence so clear, so strong, so steady, people have no choice but to adjust to you. They may not like you, but they'll never overlook you, never underestimate you, never forget you, and that is far more powerful than love. Love can fade. Respect can last forever. Let's go deeper. People often misunderstand Machiavelli's famous phrase, "It is better to be feared than loved, if one cannot be both." They hear that and think he means to be cruel. But that's not what he meant at all. He meant this: love is uncertain. Respect, or a healthy caution, is predictable. When people love you, they choose to give you power, and they can choose to take it back. But when people respect your strength or fear upsetting you, you've already won. Because now they act differently when you're around. They control themselves. They're careful around your quietness. They treat your attention like gold and your words like law. That is the invisible influence Machiavelli built, not through charm but through certainty. Certainty in yourself, certainty in your path. Certainty that you didn't need to be liked to be respected. Let me show you something powerful. The more you try to be liked, the more easily you can be replaced. Because there will always be someone more charming than you, more agreeable, more friendly, more humble. But when you walk into a room and refuse to play that game, when you let your strong presence do the talking, you build a unique identity no one else can copy. They may try to copy your words, your tone, your image, but they cannot copy your inner strength. They can't fake the confidence that comes from not caring who approves. That's what Machiavelli mastered. He used likability as a smart move, never as a need. If he smiled, it was planned. If he complimented, it served a purpose. If he gave in, it was because doing so gave him a better grip on the situation. But the moment someone thought his approval could be bought, he cut the connection, quietly, completely. Because power doesn't beg, it withdraws. And when you withdraw your energy from those who expect you to please them, their reaction reveals everything. Watch how fast they turn bitter, how quickly they accuse you of being arrogant, how loudly they call you cold. Not because you did something wrong, but because you reminded them they never truly controlled you in the first place. Now look at this world. Everyone is performing for likes. Everyone is trying to look good. Everyone is addicted to applause. And in that desire to be liked, they give away all their power. They hide their true thoughts. They weaken their strength. They pretend to be humble just to fit in. But Machiavelli would see through that. He'd ask you one question: does it make people respect you? Because if it doesn't, it's worthless. If your popularity doesn't protect your position, it's a weakness. If your kindness doesn't create loyalty, it's just a show. If your humility invites disrespect, it's a slow defeat. You don't need to be hated. That's not the point. But you must be unaffected by whether people like you. That's the key. Not caring too much is your shield. Because once you stop needing to be liked, you can finally say what needs to be said, do what needs to be done, remove who needs to be removed. Demand what you're owed. Walk away from disrespect without explaining anything. No hesitation, no guilt, no apology. And when you do that long enough, people stop testing you. They stop pushing your limits. They stop wondering where you stand. Because now they know, you are not here for affection, you are here for influence. Now let me show you the final twist, the most Machiavellian power move of all. Once you stop trying to be liked, people start chasing your approval. They sense you don't need it. They feel the gap, and they want to fill it. They want you to like them, to see them, to speak to them. Because you've completely changed the dynamic. The one who begged becomes the one who chooses. And that's where your true power begins, not in forcing control, but in being so emotionally independent that it makes people respect you. You become the one person who doesn't react to flattery, doesn't flinch under pressure, doesn't crumble under judgment. And because of that, people start to view you as something more. Not just a person, but a force. Someone whose words carry weight, whose silence creates tension, whose disapproval hurts more than 10 compliments could ever soothe. And here's the paradox. You might not be liked by everyone, but you will be respected, trusted, followed, even truly admired by those rare few who understand what real strength looks like. So if you want to build real power in business, in leadership, in life, here's your code. Never explain yourself just to be understood. Never soften your tone just to avoid offending. Never weaken your truth for acceptance. Never smile just to feel safe. Never agree just to keep peace. Never act humble when you've earned your place. Never apologize for your edge. Never betray your own voice for the crowd's approval. Instead, speak with precision. Move with quiet strength. Let people form opinions and ignore them. Let respect build in the silence where approval used to live. Let them fear your absence more than they crave your presence. That is how Machiavelli would walk through today's world. Not loud, not cruel, not arrogant, just untouchable. And when the applause fades, and the trends die, and the crowd forgets who made them laugh, they will remember the one who never needed to be liked in the first place. Because that is the only person whose name survives. The one who led without asking for permission. The one who built lasting structures from solid principles, not fleeting smiles. The one who mastered the art of being respected, not with violence, but with a vision so unshakable, no opinion could move it. That is Machiavelli's final lesson. Be respected, even if it costs you affection. Be powerful, even if it costs you friends. Be real, even if it costs you applause. Because applause ends. Power echoes. Here's how to ensure your transformation continues. Hit the like button if this deep dive into Machiavellian wisdom has helped you understand how to build power beyond being liked. Your support helps share these vital lessons. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Your journey to mastering unseen influence and becoming a master architect of influence begins now. I'll see you in the next build.